Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Bible teaching snippet of the day. Well, today I want to do exactly what I did yesterday. I want to do a Q&A session. Okay, yesterday someone sent the question in, when did mankind start eating the flesh of animals or animal meat? And I answered that. If you haven't seen that video, you're welcome to go back and watch it. Today I have an unrelated question, and I just want to talk about that a little bit. So this is what was in my inbox. Good morning, how are you? I was wondering if you had any teaching you have done on losing your salvation. And here's my answer. I don't have a specific video on losing your salvation. The bigger issue is the religious misunderstanding of salvation. If we start with a wrong understanding, we will certainly draw out a wrong theology. So we first need to define what a person believes salvation means. Okay, so let me start here and say wrong theology. What do I mean by the word theology? Well, the word theology is simply what we believe about God, or what we believe God, where He stands on certain issues, okay? So when I say that when we start with the wrong foundation, okay, we are going to end up believing wrong things, okay? I used this as an example one time. When people believe that God is wrathful, angry, get even, bloodthirsty, He doesn't value animals or human beings for that matter, that belief system usually starts out with people believing that in Genesis chapter 3, God was punishing Adam and Eve. He's been mad at Adam and Eve ever since they rebelled against Him. And He was angry enough, He killed an animal and ripped its fur off of it. And then we go on over into Genesis chapter 4. We're taught that Abel slit the throat of a lamb and sacrificed it to God. And did you know, when you go back to the original Greek and Hebrew manuscripts, neither Genesis 3 with Adam and Eve or Genesis 4, chapter 4, about Abel, neither of those are true. So see, we've started on a faulty foundation, a wrong foundation, and that belief about God, our theology about the God in Genesis chapter 3 and Genesis chapter 4 is going to follow us all the way to the end of our 66-volume Bible. And that's what I mean by a wrong theology. Well, so let's talk a little bit about salvation then, because I think for the most part, people have a wrong understanding of salvation because religion has laid a faulty foundation, and now we believe the wrong things. So when I start talking to, and I'll just let you test this out in your mind. When somebody says, "Are you saved?" immediately, most Christians automatically go to wondering about this, or believing one or the other, I should say. When somebody says, "Are you saved?" the person immediately who says, "Yes, I am saved," they have a vision of heaven in their mind. They believe, when someone says, "Are you saved?" and they say yes, they believe, "Yes, I have said a sinner's prayer and I am going to go to heaven." When someone says, "No, I am not saved," most Christians believe that person is going here. Okay? So basically, a person has to say a sinner's prayer, and then they get issued a fire insurance card. I made this up about 3.5 years ago and used it in several of my different teachings. I have taught quite a bit in the past about what Christianity really is, and is it about a sinner's prayer and getting saved so you don't go to hell. Okay, I've been teaching this for almost 4 years, and I use this card. This card says, "One free entry. The holder of this card is guaranteed entry into heaven," and it's a fire insurance card. It reminds me of playing Monopoly, okay, the little board game. You can get a card that says "get out of jail free," and that's what we believe a sinner's prayer does. It gets us out of jail. There's no going to hell or anything. Now, let's go a little further. A few weeks back, I taught off of these two cards. People use them in America through some denominations. They pass them out and give them to what they call people who are lost. And one of the cards tells people how to become a Christian. So it tells you what you got to believe. And the next card actually tells you a sinner's prayer at the bottom on how to be saved, okay? So I guess where I want to go next is I want to expand on this just a little bit, okay? I'm going to read you some more of what I said to her. I said, let's start with no one found their salvation. And actually, did you know, beyond Adam and Eve being rebellious, okay, nobody lost their salvation. So nobody actually found their salvation either. So let me go back and read this. Let's start with no one found their salvation. Jesus came to save what was lost. I think our first mistake is thinking religion is handing out treasure maps, and if the person reads the map correctly, they'll find the hidden treasure. And if we do what we're supposed to do, we say a sinner's prayer, we get issued a card. I'll throw that in too. Okay. Now here's an analogy that I made. Religion and keeping one's salvation is like being at a dog racing track, the Greyhound racetrack. There's a fake bunny on a moving arm. All the greyhounds are chasing it around and around the track, and the bunny isn't real. Did you know that I have seen this in Christianity so much? They tell you to say a sinner's prayer so you will be saved. And once you get saved, for you to stay saved, you have to keep running around and around the track chasing the salvation bunny, right? Now, here's the thing, the problem with that. Now, let me say this. Some denominations teach that once you say the sinner's prayer, Jesus signs your insurance policy, and he pays it in full for you, and no matter what you do or what you don't do, you're saved because you said the sinner's prayer. Okay. Other denominations will teach that you have to continuously say a sinner's prayer and get forgiven pretty much on a daily basis for the sins that you commit after you do your initial first sinner's prayer. And that will keep this current and active and not canceled. So let me give you a scenario. I was talking to a 78-year-old lady, and she's been in church her entire life, okay? And she told me that she prays every night when she goes to bed. And I said, well, what do you pray? It's an easy question. Immediately she says, well, I pray when I go to bed. I tell God all of the sins that I've done, and I ask him to forgive me. Because, Lord, if I died in the middle of the night without getting forgiven of my sins, I will go to hell. See, she's on the policy that has to be paid as you go, or you're not covered. So there's different beliefs about that, right? And look, guys, this Bible teacher is not going to settle that debate today. That debate has been going on since around the 5th century. During the 5th century, we lost the true meaning of what it means to be saved or to get saved, if you want to call it that, and what the word salvation means. And now religion has taught us it's about a prayer we say and whether or not we're in right standing with God when we die. And if we're in right standing with God, we got our fire insurance card and it is up to date, it is active, and it's not, and it hasn't been canceled. We will get to walk through the pearly gates and be in heaven forever. Or if we are not up to date on our insurance card, we will automatically go to hell. Now, I would like to say this one more time. I've said this in several teachings. A sinner's prayer to either go to heaven or someone not saying a sinner's prayer and they're going to go to hell, that is a destination gospel. Jesus did not really teach a destination gospel. Jesus taught a here and now gospel about the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is here. The kingdom of God is in you. The kingdom of God is right now. Okay, now that's what Jesus taught. Now over in the book of Acts, we see the apostles doing the same thing. So here's what I want to wrap this up with, okay? I think what we need to do first is we need to define what the word saved means, to be saved, or the word salvation. So I want to take you real quick over and show you what the actual Greek word in the New Testament, sozo, S-O-Z-O, that's the word that's translated saved, and it's also translated healed in a couple of places too. So let me read to you the meaning of the word sozo. The word sozo means saved, healed, delivered, protected, preserved, made whole, kept safe and sound. So that's what the word sozo means. So the question I'm asking is, are we possibly seeing the word sozo in the wrong light? Okay, so what if sozo is not a destination, but what we do right here and right now, here in the nasty now and now? I'm going to call this a wrap up on this teaching today. I can talk and expound a little bit more. I've got a lot of scriptures that I can talk to you about. But here's the thing I want you to think about. If we say that people have to work toward staying saved, then Jesus did not actually complete the deal. Jesus was not enough. Jesus was just a down payment to God the Father, and everything else is left up to the individual themselves to determine whether or not that they can walk in what God has already provided for them through His Son Jesus. Okay, well, I'll see you here tomorrow. I love you. Bye-bye.